I think we all deal with things differently, and yet at the same time, right now, collectively, we're all dealing with things in the same way as well. I've been spending a lot of time inside. I really don't have any inclination to try and go outside. I'm not going to risk my health or, anything that could possibly, compromise my ability to live. I feel like I've really been utilizing this time to, try and better myself. I've been reading a lot, I've been writing a lot, I've been watching lots of films, I've been really thinking about who I am, and that's helped me develop myself as an artist. And I think sometimes some downtime and really just sitting there and thinking can really spearhead you into a new perspective that you might not have considered before. I've been really hitting the books. I've been definitely reading a lot. This book in particular, John Steinbeck's The Grapes of Wrath, has really, changed my perspective on, what it means to have enough. I think as a society we've definitely become a little unaware of what enough means. I think our idea of what enough is has definitely changed. But, this coming to fruition could really be a sign that we need to step back and think about what enough means. Does enough mean that a handful of people get to hoard the wealth and everybody else works for them? Or does enough mean that everybody has the necessities to get by? Or does enough mean that everybody has the necessities and a little bit of luxury? We really need to be asking ourselves these questions, because if we don't, and if we don't soon, we will wind up in another really large mess. This book follows the details of an everyman character named Tom Joad. And Tom Joad basically gets right out of prison and he returns back home. His family are tenant farmers, and these tenant farmers basically, if you don't know what a tenant farmer is, it's somebody who works on a farm that they actually don't own. They're hired as sort of farm keepers, like they're keepers of the land, and they tend to the crops, and they run that segment. But the people that actually live in the house and own the land may be more affluent, and they sort of just hire. It's kind of like a garden or a farm maids, if you will. So yeah, but anyway, so these tenant farmers, basically they get evicted. They're not paid anymore, and they have to leave. And these big corporate farms come and take over, and they basically buy up this large swath of land. And so all these people that used to have their own little pieces of land don't have that land anymore, and they have to move west. Well, when they start moving west, they begin to realize that many other people are in the same exact boat that they are. And so the book really follows the perspective of somebody in the middle of the Great Depression. And I had always known about the Great Depression in school, but I had never really gotten to take in a story that describes a single character's perspective on it. And it's not just a single character in this book. You get, a large variety of the different members of the family's perspective and how they feel and how one person's decision affects another. And, this book sort of talks about that domino effect of economically what we face today could be the same way. If somebody makes a decision here, especially somebody with a large amount of power, that can affect a lot of us. In fact, if the president says that you should inhale disinfectant and then people do so and they die, somebody who has that platform or has that power really needs to think about what they say before they say it. And I think it's not just the president. I think that if the people elect a politician, it's my belief that that politician really reflects collectively what society wants from a leader. And right now, they want a reality fame star. They want a reality TV star. They want somebody who is Instagram famous or Twitter famous. They want, you know, it doesn't feel like a precedent. It feels like I'm watching a reality TV show. It feels like, I'm not really watching somebody really buckle down and read the briefings and really try to, figure out how to make these large, influential decisions. No, it feels like I'm watching a reality TV show. I feel like now we're sort of in an era of information overload. I think people are inundated, right? Like they have all of these things coming at them, and some of it's for the better. Some people are finding out things that they would have never thought of before. The internet has that sort of spider web effect, right? Like you go in on one little spindle or little strand, and you weave yourself all the way through, and you find yourself in a pattern that you never would have considered before. And sometimes that's for the better, but there's no way to filter this out, right? And so if you have people on Twitter that are saying this and that, and they can't substantiate it, you're not really able to say, okay, this is true and this isn't, because you don't have a way to back that up, right? And so I think people now, what you're seeing now, which is leading to a greater increase in anxiety and depression, is because people are getting this information and they're ruminating on it in their head all day, and it could turn out to be that it wasn't even true to begin with, right? And so now they have all these concepts, these falsely equated concepts in their head that haven't been tested, haven't been proven, and they're walking around thinking that's correct. We're living in an echo chamber, and that's not really a good thing. I think now the best thing to do, which is really what I do, is to find something that does hold meaning to you and will improve your life. And there are many things that can do that, but in order to do that, you have to persist. And I think we all need to look towards that. We all need to persevere, and we all need to persist, and we all need to collectively start to really consider what things mean and where we get these things from.